Well, right now, I am in the Netherlands, and over the past few days, we have been walking the ground and exploring the battlefields associated with Operation Market Garden. And right here behind me is the spot where the legendary Jim Gavin landed in what was codenamed Drop Zone N. And we talked about this in a previous episode of History Traveler, but today we've brought back a few artifacts that are connected not only with the 82nd Airborne, but the commanding general of the 82nd, Jim Gavin. All right, now, like I said, we are at Drop Zone N, which is where the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment landed on September the 17th of 1944 in Operation Market Garden. And again, back here behind me is where Jim Gavin landed. And we brought a few artifacts out here today, but first I want to show a few photos that they have on display here at this site. Now, again, like I said just a moment ago, we visited this site for an episode of History Traveler, so there will be some things that we show on there that we won't see here, and some things that we show on here that we won't see there. But just in case you didn't see that episode, here are just a few photos. Here you can see men from the 82nd that are dropping here in the Netherlands for Operation Market Garden. And right here, we see a photo of General Gavin communicating orders to an officer just a few minutes after landing here at what became known as Klein America, or Little America. Next to him is Colonel Al Ireland, who was the G1 of the division. But we're going to take a look at a few artifacts that we've brought along with us today from the Gettysburg Museum of History connected to Jim Gavin.
We're in the Netherlands, and we are on one of the 82nd Airborne drop zones, and this is the area where General James Gavin landed during Operation Market Garden. General Gavin took over command of the 82nd Airborne from Matthew Ridgway during Normandy in Italy. It was commanded by Ridgway, and so he would have been promoted to Gavin would have been promoted to two-star general, which is major general, at some point. Now, when he actually jumped here, he would have held the rank of brigadier general still officially, but he took command of that division. So sometime after the actual drops, the official promotion went through. There's a little controversy on what the exact date is. There's the actual date and then the official date. But what I have here is Major General Jim Gavin's coffee thermos. Now, the story was that he carried this with him all the time. He was a big consumer of coffee, supposedly, and this is a thermos, and I always thought this may be a later thing, but it has a patent date on the bottom that says it's 1915, and this is for field use, so he probably had this at some point, whether he actually jumped with it or it was in his Jeep, or we don't really know. And we also have a shoulder patch here from the 82nd Airborne that belonged to him. And I wanted to bring these out here today and share them with you. Now, an interesting thing happened a couple of days ago. We were at a ceremony, and I actually ran into General Gavin's daughter, Chloe, and I told her about this. And she told me that she never heard the story about coffee, like whether he drank coffee all the time or not. She'd never heard that, but she was very interested because we also have General Gavin's uniform, one of his uniforms, at the Gettysburg Museum of History. So we exchanged information. She's going to come visit the uniform. But interesting piece. I doubt if he jumped with this, but he might have had it a little bit later in the campaign.
Got a few other little things that we have out here with us today. As you can imagine, well, after the German army and the Americans and the British left this area, well, they left a lot of things behind, and there are a lot of relics that got left in the dirt that relic hunters are still finding today. So here are just a few of those items. So right here we see some material from some of the American parachutes. These were likely recovered out of a barn. Right here, this is part of an anti-tank mine. So this would be kind of like the pressure plate that when a vehicle would drive over it, it would push it down and then would set off the mine. Right here, you see a parachute hook. Here's the handle off of a reserve chute. Also some of the bungee cord. So anytime that we're out traveling around, well, there's a network of historians and pickers and relic hunters and things like that that we have connections with. And even on this trip, Eric has picked up a lot of things that are for sale on the Gettysburg Museum of History website. Gives people a little piece of history to have in their collection so that they can teach others and have a connection with history themselves, and also helps to fund the museum and keep it open free to the public. Yeah, here are just a few of the relics that we're bringing home with us. Buddy Paul just stepped into the woods and was looking around here, and we have one other artifact that we are going to show, but first I just wanted to show this. Right here at the edge of the woods is a foxhole. Now, we don't know if this is an American foxhole or a German foxhole. When the 82nd landed here, it was almost right on top of a German position. As a matter of fact, there was a German machine gunner that about cut Gavin down, and a Dutch liaison ended up saving his life. But yeah, right here at the edge of the woods, you can see the fighting position of either a German or American. We can't say for sure.
This is General James Gavin's plaque from his Jeep, and it's a 2-star Major General plaque, and it has his name on the back, and this came from his estate years ago. Now, the story was this was here, but the fact that he didn't really get officially promoted to Major General till a little bit later in the campaign makes me wonder if this isn't a little bit later. I looked for some photographs of Gavin's Jeep, and interestingly, all the photos that I found with doing some pretty quick research, the plaque is removed from his Jeep. So maybe he didn't want to drive around with a 1-star, and maybe he did it for security reasons. This makes you a target for snipers. I did, however, find a photo of General Taylor, who commanded the 101st Airborne's Jeep, with the same type of placard on here. Now, General Taylor did drive around with his placard on there, and so people did it, or generals did do it. But this is Gavin's, and we wanted to bring it back here today. Again, whether it was actually here during the drops or anything, we doubt it, but it might have been used later in the campaign, and certainly later on during World War II.